my brothers, this video clip is devoted to all Western European friends of mine, and not only Western European but generally all friends of mine from the Western world. I'll keep the camera focused to this so that you can read in Rue. What do you think why there is no information in Serbian language? Because we are not close to Serbia. We are at the border between Greece and northern Macedonia, Kaimaktsalan mountain. Currently also known as Voras, which is a new Greek name for the mountain. But all the Greeks also know the name Kaimaktsalan, which is a rather Turkish, actually Ottoman name. It means stolen kaimak. Kaimak being this milk cream, traditional in the Balkan, practically all Balkan countries. This is the crypt where Serbian soldiers have been buried. The script here I cannot quite understand, not 100%, because it's written in Staroslovenski language. Staroslovenski meaning old Slavic language, which was practically the language of the Serbian Orthodox Church. Actually, only this is something that I can understand. 1916, 17th of September. Except for this crypt, there is a mausoleum there above. I'll just walk you to it. The mausoleum was erected by a Serbian king, Alexander I, who was practically a Regent prince during the First World War. However, our king Peter was quite old back then and ill, so the Regent Alexander practically overtook the command over the army in the later stage of the year. Why is this place so important? It is because this is the place where 60,000 Serbian soldiers have decided the destiny of the Great War, the First World War. Yeah, this is something that probably you Westerners are not going to find in your history books. Or you will find it, but only with a few sentences. However, try to read some additional books. Try to educate yourself a bit better. Don't only listen to your news. Don't only read to your mainstream newspapers, magazines. Try to read something else. Try to read or listen several sources. Me, having been grown up in Serbia, which was not always known for democracy, I learned quite early in my life that I have to consult several sources before I draw any conclusion. But it seems to me that the Western European people, especially over the last 30 years, have been quite brainwashed by their media and propaganda. So my friendly advice, try to consult several sources. Some of them also from the other side. If there is a conflicted other side, you'll find some information in addition to what your media and propaganda are serving you. So the story went like this. Austro-Hungarian army, the big and mighty Austro-Hungarian army, presented an ultimatum to the Serbs back in 1914. The kind of ultimatum that no sovereign country can accept. We tried everything to bring them to sense. But it was not worth it. They have already decided to start a war with Serbia. And of course they thought it would be a piece of cake. Just one geographical notice. This here is Macedonia, northern Macedonia. This is where the Bulgarian, Austrian and German soldiers were stationed. The other side is the Greek side. This is where Serbian, French, British, Russian, Italian, Greek soldiers were stationed. Actually, the Serbs were pretty much a minority. I mean, with regards to the size of the army. But eventually, they were the ones that decided the destiny of the war. 60 to 90,000 of them, not more. I'll try to translate, although it's a bit difficult. To my heroes, courageous and trustful, who opened the door to freedom by their own chests, and that stayed here as eternal guardians at the doorstep of the home country or homeland. This is what it is written. Maybe I'm not a professional translator, so don't take this for whatever. Don't take me wrong. The mausoleum was renovated relatively recently. The occasion of the 100th anniversary of the breakthrough of the so-called Solun front or Thessaloniki front or Salonika front, whatever you like. I'll tell you in short the whole story. Just quickly go in. Yeah, as I said, it's a small chapel, an Orthodox cross, some candles burning. Here you can see the height of because this is also the highest peak of the mountain. As a hiker, you can put your stamp, you can take the stamp here, you can sign your name in the book here as well. This is the memory book of the very chapel, and this is the memory book of the mountain for hikers. This here is particularly interesting. The ash of the famous Archibald Rice. Yeah, Google Archibald Rice. By the name you can judge that he was not Serb. He was a Swiss origin. I presume actually Austrian in essence, but okay, let's say that he was Swiss. A great friend of Serbs. He did so much for the Serbs. He liked these people a lot, and he asked for his ash to be buried here at this specific place. Okay, let's go out again. Okay, you have some icons here. So there is no guardian to this place. You can freely come. People are leaving some money here in various currencies, in Macedonian dinars, in Serbian dinars, in Bulgarian leus, in euros, of course. This is the proof that King Alexander was the one who erected this chapel. Okay, let's go out. Just we can close the door. Okay. Let me close this gate too. So, quickly, the story goes like this. 1914, Austro-Hungary declares the war to, mighty Austro-Hungarian Empire declares the war to a tiny Serbia and believe that it will be finished in a week time. However, the first attack was defended by heavy casualties on both sides. Then the Austrians said, oops, what was that? Let us send them our famous General Pochorek, who was actually of a Slavic origin. But Slavs can also be big bastards sometimes when mind controlled by the occupiers. Second attempt with the mighty Pochorek. Boom! Again defended with huge casualties on both sides. Then Serbia even started pushing back through Bosnia towards Vienna. Okay, the great powers intervened and said, okay, don't do that. It's not clever. And then the Austro-Hungarians said, oops, it seems that we cannot do this by ourselves. Let's invite the mighty Germany to help us. But not only that, because they knew that this may not be sufficient. So they closed the deal with Bulgarians. Bulgarians were pissed off of the Serbs and Greeks and Romanians from the previous war, from the Second Balkan War, where they lost. They tried to attack both Serbia and Greece at once, and of course that they lost. So the deal was the following: the Austro-Hungarians and Germans will attack from the west and from the north, while the Bulgarians will attack from the southeast. And of course, exhausted Serbian army could not cope with it. So the decision was, it was a big decision. It was debated whether to fight until the last man standing or to do a strategic withdrawal. Strategic withdrawal meant that the entire Serbian army, the entire government, the parliament, and a lot of local civilians should march over Montenegro and Albania to the port of Dures, Brač, where they were supposed to be picked up by the French ships and taken to the island of Corfu, the Greek island of Corfu. The problem was, it was a harsh winter, one of the harshest winters ever. So many died during this march. Some of the exhaustion, some of the sickness. witness some being killed by the Albanian gangs. But some of them finally managed to reach the destination. And then when they came to the destination, the French guys, they said, "Ooh, you know, there are some Italians, not Italian, but submarines in the area. We cannot send our ships, so please march for another 100 kilometers along the coast." So our guys did it, heavily exhausted. And okay, at the end they were transferred to the island of Corfu, and then the swampy terrain where they were located, they were dying in thousands of malaria, of exhaustion, you name it. However, some handful of them managed to recover. The French guys have re-weaponized them, trained them to use French rifles. But interestingly, for all this period, the sessions of the Serbian parliament, the sessions of the Serbian government were held at the island of Corfu, at the Greek territory. This is a unique case in the history of warfare, and this is where the traditional Serbian-Greek friendship practically starts. Okay, it starts actually even before, from the first Balkan War, and then throughout the second Balkan War, but actually this example, honestly speaking, now it was not so black and white. The Greek King George was against it, because he was a pro-German, because of the origin. However, the Prime Minister Eleftherios Venizelos was very much in favor of this, and he was a pro-French oriented. So practically Greece itself went to a heavy crisis during the First World War. It was practically divided to the northern Greece, that was pro-French and pro-Allies, and the southern Greece, that was pro-German because of the king. But never mind, this is not the important story. So Serbian soldiers, once retrained and rearmed, came here. There were approximately 500,000 of Allied soldiers in this region, in the region of Thessaloniki, and the front was pretty much idle. The line of the front was here, practically at the border of that time Serbia, actually that time Yugoslavia, let's say, the kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovens, and Greece. So it was pretty much idle for quite a long period of time when Serbian soldiers requested to attempt the breakthrough. And this breakthrough happened here in 1916, when with heavy casualties they managed to penetrate and practically go down and conquer the city of Bitola, in the past called Monastir in the Ottoman times. And okay, the Allies then realized that, the Bulgaro-Austro-German defense was not iron. However, they decided not to make any additional attempts to make a breakthrough. Up until 1918. And then the Serbs again said, we are going to do it with or without your support. There was a big debate at the top of the French army whether to support the crazy Serbs or not. At the end, it was decided to support them with a heavy artillery barrage fire. Some sources say that the peak of the mountain over there was reduced by as much as 20 meters as a result of the barrage artillery fire. Okay, definitely several meters, that's for sure. I'm not sure if it is 20 meters or a bit less. And then the crazy Serbs started, the infantry. The French cavalry said, yeah, you go first, we will follow. And this is how it went. And they managed to break through. During the first day, they opened a pathway of a couple of kilometers wide. And then the remaining troops of Serbs and French cavalry and some other troops also started passing through here. Then the French advised Serbs not to go so fast into the battles, because it was a battle after battle. To take a rest, because the logistics couldn't follow it. But the crazy Serbs said no. We were, for more than 2 years, we were away from our homeland. So they did it. The Bulgarians realized how crazy the Serbs are. They surrendered very quickly. Serbian army intervened and stopped the Serbs from actually entering Sofia. Okay, they continued to push north. North. The Germans, Austrians, they tried to regroup somewhere around the city of Niš in today's Serbia. However, this line of defense was also quickly penetrated, so after only 2 weeks the Serbs were already in Belgrade. But they didn't want to stop there. They continued chasing the Austro-Hungarian army up north towards Hungary. And then the Hungarians said, oops, they invited the great powers, and they didn't want to surrender to the Serbs, but they invited the great powers to surrender to them. Serbs were a bit pissed off, but okay, we said, never mind. So now let's chase the Austrians. And we have chased them all the way to Ljubljana, today's Slovenia, and even further. And then they realized that one should not mess up with crazy Serbs, and they surrendered too. And only the Germans then remained, but they also surrendered a couple of days after. So Serbia was sitting at a peace conference together with all other great powers as the winner of the First World War. That's the story of Serbia, this holy place. There are a few more details